Hey everybody, this is Grace, and pardon the heater being on. It's cold. Yeah. I think tomorrow night, hey, guy. Yeah. Tomorrow night is supposed to be, tonight actually, it's supposed to get into dip into the freezing and below, but today it's like, what is it right now? It's 44 degrees. And I didn't think it was chilly this morning when it was even colder, but once I really got out into it, yeah. Anyway, I used to say that I was going to do more on that, talking about the weather every once in a while, pleasantries before you get into all the rest. It really depends on the topic, but this topic, for this one, I want to talk about Patreon. Now, I never really had any negative thoughts about Patreon myself, but when people first started using it, I had noticed a lot of people were very angry at the YouTubers that were using it. They felt cheated somehow. I heard different stories and different people say different things, and yeah, cheated. But I think a lot of it would be the delivery, the way somebody says, talks about their Patreon and talks about people who don't like it. But if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. That's, it's my view. You don't have to sign up, And I could see where they felt that way. I don't think I would feel that way. And I think it also is the type of person, too. If a person is very money hungry, I think some people that aren't like them, I would say, catch it and see it, and it's like a total turn off to that person. If the person, all they ever talk about is money, 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 how can they get money? They want more money from you, their viewers, their subscribers, they want more and more and more, they're constantly saying things like, that they, in order to keep their channel up, they need some money. Really? Why? Why? I've been doing it for free all these years. And probably the quality shows, but hey, low budget production, But anyway, that's how I've heard people say it. Low budget production, but that's what it is. But no, you don't have to have all this money and all this stuff, but that's what they do. They use anything they can to get money from people, and some people pick up on it, and some people are just like that, so they don't care, and some people are, manipulated by them, not blaming the victim, and, whatever. So people pick up on that, and then when they add something new, like a Patreon, they like, oh, no. Anyway, there's much more to that, but I never really had that negative thing. Now, this whole thing about people feeling cheated, because they, they expect people to have their lives as an open book, Really, like if you watch my channel and you have an attitude that I owe you more than that, I don't owe you crap. Really. Nobody owes you crap on YouTube that they need to do what you want them to do. Now, I've never liked it when people said stuff like that, and they said things like, it's my channel, I'll do what I want to, because it seems like it's so, I don't know, that whole thing, like me just saying, I don't owe you crap, and that I'm being nice with that crap word. But, that attitude it makes, to me, people feel, defensive, feel offended, and, yeah. Okay, or it could. To me, it was like, whatever. I just don't like the, to some it might, and to me, it depends on the person again, can sound like a little bit of bullying, even. It just depends on the way, the way they say it. But anyway, nobody owes you that. Nobody owes you to tell you more, and if they want to talk about things going on in their life, in their way of doing it is on YouTube, like me. Mine are my visual journaling. It is visual journaling. Some of it. But if they want to get deeper and into certain topics, and they don't want just anybody can watch it, because anybody can watch, get on YouTube. Anybody has access to it. can watch your videos, and maybe they don't want that, and they do want, audience that they know who it is, because you don't know who is your audience on YouTube, just on YouTube. So they put their videos on just privately on Patreon, and their patrons can watch them. The people that pay for it, and the content creator, they know who is on their Patreon. When you pay for it, it gives them your name, address, phone number, all that. I don't know about phone number though. Maybe it's just your name and number. I mean, your name and address. In other words, you just don't have anybody trolling. Okay, but there are some exceptions to that, I've noticed. Okay, where was I? But anyway, yeah, I was talking about trolling. It reduces the chance of trolling, I would think. I mean, I tried joining one time before, and I don't know. I just felt it wasn't all that, and so I unjoined, and I saw that you can, I think they still know who it is if they catch it maybe early. I don't know. I don't do Patreon. I have a Patreon account, but I don't do Patreon, and that's all because of the PayPal thing. I don't like. Never. I'll skip that. But I think you can use a bank account on Patreon, but I'd open up a separate account and all that, bank account or something before I do it, because I'm a victim of identity theft, and I don't know how they ever got it. My information. This was from many years ago. You want to talk about a mess? Yeah, try getting that off, of your record, and all somebody using your account, your social security number with fake names and taking out all kinds of credit. And, whew, boy. So I don't like to put any kind of information online. So I didn't. Yeah. Anyway, and plus you hear so much about how people are trolls and they dox each other, and I don't think, people who are on Patreon, who go to Patreon, some of them are that type. I've seen the dark side of YouTube, and I know the dark side of YouTube, and it reminds me of where I grew up, with some of it. But yeah, the toughest town in Texas. I ain't joking with that. Hear me? I ain't. But yeah, and the people talk to one another. They swap one another. They, oh my goodness, send out their trolls and all this kind of stuff. And I don't know. Okay, but I think it reduces some of that. That in itself of the creator. For what the creator. Now, if the creator is the type that, hey, they're going to make a Patreon and then go and dox people that join them. Wow. Like I was just saying, that can happen. Overall, I think that Patreon is lessens that chance of anybody being trolled, in that way. When people, I have been online since 1990. And actually before then, but in anything that you would consider as social media platforms, since 1990. And yeah, trolls have always been around. They weren't always called trolls. They were called bashers, haters, all kinds of different names. But yeah, I've seen some pretty bad things along the way. And okay, anyway, I did a whole clip and it wasn't turned on. My camera wasn't turned on. But basically I was saying that, I've seen trolls since then, and when people don't have, we all know this, when people don't have, some people, they don't, they get behind a screen, their real name's not attached to it. They just hide behind the screen and they become trolls. They might be the sweetest people out there on the planet. We know how that goes, narcissistic kind of whatever kind of behaviors. They're one way in public and then a totally different one behind the scenes, behind the screens. And, but I think people who are on Patreon who, pay to watch the viewer, watch the people they're subscribed to on Patreon, they're patrons. When they pay for it. It's not much. What, I don't even know how much it is these days. That person's taking their half in the middle. But anyway, when they do that, they're more sincere. They're not as likely to be trolls. Okay, but there are other things attached to that. So anyway, I can get why people like Patreon. I'm not a fan of those who are the money hungry people. I know that. But as far as, if you want to get deeper into talking about some things and you don't want the whole world to see, I think that Patreon's great for that. It's not perfect, but nothing is perfect. But I think it is. And now I had actually tried, one time I was going through a situation that went on for about 6 months or so, and I didn't want to put it on any of my any channel that was popular. I had 2 main channels, So I had this other one, and I put this stuff on there, but I wouldn't leave it up very long, and I don't even think that any of them are up. But I did try them on the other 2, but it just seemed, it did not seem comfortable to talk about a situation that was really bad for me. In fact, at one point my blood pressure was 280 something over 100 and something. It was really bad, and that went on. Whew, it was bad. But it was a bad situation, and for me, this is, my form of journaling, and since I've been doing vlogs since the 1990s, not vlogs, but blogs, I did blogs from sometime in the 1990s. And since I was a child, I did the journaling. A child. I'm talking like 10 years old at least. That's the way that I cope. One way. I think it's always good to seek counseling if you can. I'm not the type that thinks that everybody can, but just try calling your local university. I'm not making any, giving any advice or any counseling, but anyway, stuff keeps going on around me, by the way. That's why I moved and all this stuff. Just too much people parking and running it's just weird. Just weird stuff. Unusually weird for Narcissismville. But anyway, they, like I said, I did that. I tried, and it was good for me because that was my only release from that craziness that happened. And like I said, it was for like 6 months. But now, if I had had Patreon back then, I would have put it on Patreon and even said much, much more. Okay? Much more than that. And I don't find myself comfortable enough to do things like this. In fact, I think that's one of the things that stops me. It's because I learned about, many of us learn don't air your dirty laundry in public kind of thing. And although at the same time, some of us have learned to speak out against like dysfunctional families, narcissistic abuse, these things, domestic violence, domestic abuse, whatever we have, and that's a good thing to a point, to a degree, to a level. Some of it is just too much disclosure, self-disclosure, too much of saying, and for some of that, can lead people who are abusive to come after you. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So, okay, I wonder if the weirdness is over here. I've seen two or three of the automobiles leave. There's one more, the one that took her half out of the middle. But anyway, she was one of 2, by the way, that took their half out of the middle. Like, one was still had their motor running. Anyway, yeah, I'm not paranoid, but it was strange. It really was strange, okay? That kind of stuff happens if you're sitting in parked somewhere. I was going to go into that store, I will in a little while. But anyway, so I can see myself opening up more on Patreon because I would know who's watching myself. But for me to get Patreon, like I said, I would have to get a different bank account. I don't like associating my actual banking account. I think it has to be checking with anything. I don't put it online at all. Victim of identity theft. Okay. Okay, and I guess you can figure out where I would go with that. how would I trust a different one? It still attaches your name and your address and, your private information. And given that something really strange I'm not going to go into happened yesterday, and no, it wasn't a parking situation. It was bad. I had just deleted a clip because I said I wasn't going to go into it, and I did. Yeah. That actually pushed me down the road to thinking if I could, I would do Patreon. Um, took me down that road. If I had that bank account that I trusted, if Patreon didn't require, stuff like, one of them I don't even know what that is, never heard of it, and, yeah, different ways, options, like to get a credit card, to put it on a credit card, what do they call those credit cards? You go and you put money on it yourself, and you can use it for different things online if you're just not trusting of things being put online. I tried to get one of those one time, but I didn't. And I don't know. It's kind of like having what people call a burner phone. How do you get a burner phone where it doesn't have your name and address on it and stuff like that? Somebody had said something to me. She knows who she is if she's watching this. That about, you get a separate phone and people can call you and things. I've seen the same one she was talking about, and I think she was on it. Whereas, a YouTube creator has a burner phone. I guess they're called burner phones. And it makes me think of some movie or something. But, and people, their viewers, their subscribers, viewers, whatever, in a live chat can call in and talk to them. Or some people, they have that for people who just, their subscribers who want to talk about something, whatever. So that it's not giving out their full name, their address, and all that stuff, and it's not a phone that they, may have had for years. I don't know. I had considered that at one time, and I think that's the same person who asked me why don't I do life coaching. We all know my views on life coaching. So. Okay, yeah, a lot of people were taking their half out of the middle here. Anyway, there's more to it than that. I just wanted to talk about that. And but there's more to it, but I need to get busy with stuff. I need to go in the store and then go somewhere else. So I'm gonna wrap this one up. Talk to y'all in another video. Bye.